Hello and welcome to Slipstream's podcasts. You can also view this on our YouTube channel, Slipstream Campus. That's all one word, Slipstream Campus.
About wilderness first aid kits. Now, some people think that safety is buying a first aid kit and just throwing it in your pack for a hiking trip. Many of these people never even look inside this first aid kit, preferring to trust in the folks that assembled the kit in the first place. Even still, many have never taken a first aid course. You should start your first aid kit with a first aid course and then put your kit together from there. Let's look at some options. One, you can buy a complete kit. Oftentimes these kits come with good outer packaging, however the contents are usually less than ideal. Or you can customize your own kit. The biggest cost difference here tends to be in time, not price. You'll also get more appropriate supplies. Clearly my choice is for making your own. Now, some first aid supplies may be improvised in a wilderness setting if space and weight are concerns. Things that can be improvised are things like splinting material, padding, slings, triangular bandages. Some supplies can never be improvised. These include sterile supplies like dressings, needles, and scalpel blades. It also includes medications. You'll need a container to put your first aid kit in. This container should be easily identifiable as a first aid kit. Your container should protect your first aid supplies from moisture and water, and set up in such a way that when your first aid kit is opened up in inclement weather, the contents still remain dry. Your container should protect your first aid supplies from ultraviolet light, so we don't recommend clear external containers. And you should also keep in mind that heat and cold can affect first aid supplies. Now, the quantity of supplies that you bring depend on things like the length of the trip and the remoteness. A 30-day Baffin Island trip versus a 2-day backpack on the Juan de Fuca Trail on Vancouver Island may have very different first aid kit requirements. Your group size and the makeup of your group, for example on an adult trip versus a youth at risk trip with teenagers, may again have different requirements. And then your activity and the likely situations that you might find yourself in can have different requirements as well. Weekend rock climbing with a buddy in Cochise Stronghold in Arizona may have different first aid kit requirements than kayak surfing in Surge Narrows near Quadra Island. Other liquids may need similar packaging. Some other considerations to balance include the loss of space. A first aid kit takes up space. Many trips are space challenged for gear. The weight of your first aid kit can be a concern. Your particular budget may be a concern. And some other things you should think about: your level of first aid training and your scope of practice. Basically, do not bring anything in a first aid kit that you're not trained in, that you have not practiced with, or you're not comfortable with using. Many medical supplies, like medications or impregnated dressings, have expiry dates, and they should not be used beyond the date. The sterility of some supplies may be compromised by water or crushed packaging, and as such, a procedure to check and replace these supplies is needed.